G'day guys, Matt Brand here. Yes, I'm with the BMW hot hatch. It's a BMW hot hatch, front wheel drive, limited slip diff. Disgusting, right? Well, guess who I am? I'll tell you who I am. I'm every BMW fanboy out there who rues the day that BMW moved from rear wheel drive to front wheel drive in the 1 Series. Shut up. Just shut up, shut up. You know, it's funny, Russia is invading Ukraine and COVID still has ruined the world 2 years later. So, ooh, perspective kind of hurts, doesn't it? As the self-proclaimed king of hot hatches though, I will be critically looking at the BMW 128 Ti, because if there's one facet of cars that I know very well, it's hot hatches, because I am obsessed. I am literally obsessed. It's a problem in my life. My therapist, we talk about it a lot. So in today's review, we're going to take a look at the exterior of the BMW 128 Ti. We're going to take a look at the interior. We're going to launch it using my specialist timing gear to see how quickly it really goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Then of course, we're going to give it some sauce on the roads and see how it performs. And finally, I'm going to end on, should you buy a BMW 128 Ti, considering there are so many good hot hatch options out there, and I've driven pretty much all of them. So let's get straight into it. As always, let's start with up front. You've got these red accents here, and some of them are real, some of them are fake. Thankfully, these ones here are real. Helps to streamline air across the side of the car and help cool the brakes too, apparently. You've got a pretty cool front splitter here, and there's aero, but this side is blocked off, the other side is real, so I guess that's something. The headlights here are also pretty cool. They've got like a hexagon design to them. These are just the standard LEDs, but they're plenty bright. And I'm pretty sure you can option matrix LEDs if you're that way inclined. You've got your classic kidney grills up here, and they are blacked out from factory, which I think is pretty cool. And of course your BMW badge, and otherwise that's it. It's pretty simple, but I think it looks pretty awesome. Very elegant. Coming to the side now, and you'll see that this front red part looks more prominent from the side than it does from the front. You've got more red on the side there, and then you've also got a TI badge, which stands for like Turismo Internazionale, which sounds more Italian than it does German. Just a classic German identity crisis, am I right? Down here you've got these bespoke 18-inch alloy wheels. They do look pretty damn cool, except they're wrapped in Pirelli P0s. Now, from what I can tell, you can actually no-cost option Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires. The only way I can describe Pirelli P0s is that they are the ugly stepchild in the perfect tire family, where Michelin Pilot Sport 4s are genuinely the best you can put on a hot hatch. It's what I put on my hot hat. So f*** off, Pirelli P0s, with your shitty compound. You've also got massive brake calipers up here. They are of course painted in red with the M badge, because this isn't an M car, but whatever. They are 360 millimeters and they have 4 pistons at the front. Ooh, very strong for braking up the car. Coming to the rest of the side, you have an M badge. Why? This isn't an M car. Anyway, coming to the rest of the side, keyless entry and go, of course. You've got a sunroof up here, although that is a $4,000 option, although it includes the metallic paint, I'm pretty sure too. Oh, that's not tinted, that's a shame. I mean, yeah, it's a hatchback. I mean, what else is there to say? Seriously, let's go check out the back. So what's the bum like on the BMW 128 Turismo Internazionale? Well, it's actually pretty cool. I love the roof spoiler here. I think it's so cool. It's like a ducktail thing, scoops up and adds, I don't know, downforce of some descript. You got pretty cool LED tail lights here, and they've got like a 3D effect to them, which I again really like. The car is extremely dirty because I just took it on a gravel road, but I don't have time to clean it. It's a very busy Sunday for me. Oh look, you've got red vents here, but they're fake, of course. They couldn't be more fake either. Ow, serves me right, but they are incredibly fake. And then down the bottom you have a meaty rear diffuser, which I'm sure is fake, and a couple of exhaust pipes, which don't sound amazing, but take a listen for yourself. Oh, and how could I forget this? The 128 Turismo Internazionale badge. Turismo Internazionale. Very German, very, very German. Despite having a strange Italian name on a German car, I actually really like the way that the 128 Ti looks. It's one of those cars that aren't overstyled. So many hot hatches are, because I don't know, I don't even know why, but this isn't overstyled. And even though it's got some weird red accents all around it, I think it looks pretty awesome. Very, very elegant, and it's something that in my day job, if I was driving to clients, I wouldn't think twice about. But in a blue i30N, that would be a thought. That would be a thought. But let me know what you guys think of the 128 Ti's looks down in the comment section, just below that like button. And if you are new here, I would love it if you could subscribe down there and hit that notification bell, because it really helps the channel out. I get to review cool cars like this, and you get to hear me roasting fanboys. So yeah, whatever, it's a win-win. Let's take a look at the inside. The interior space of the BMW 128 Ti is absolutely phenomenal. It's on point. This should be the benchmark for all hot hatch manufacturers out there. You have beautiful materials absolutely everywhere. It's all soft and squidgy, and that is really good because it helps to soak up a lot of the road noise, and it just feels premium. Being the Turismo Internazionale, you've got a TI badge in your center armrest with stitching everywhere and some carbon fiber looking effect there, but it all just works so well. And this is across the 1 Series range, by the way. It doesn't matter if you get a 118i or an M135i. They all have a beautiful, beautiful interior. In front of you, you get one of my favorite steering wheels. It's nice, fat and meaty red stitching because it's a TI. You've also got these paddle shifters here, which feel pretty nice. This does come in automatic only. You can only get it with an automatic, which for some people is a shame. For me, I don't really care. But yeah, everything down to the air conditioning controls, even the bloody radio controls just feel so damn nice. It does help that up in front of you, you get a couple of high definition 10.25-inch instrument displays. On the left-hand side is your infotainment. You can use this iDrive controller down here, or you can use it as a touchscreen, which is kind of interesting because BMW, with the COVID supply chain issues, have actually taken out a lot of touchscreens on their models. So I'm glad that it's still here, although this hasn't been immune. You don't get a wireless charger, which sucks. And that's because this has wireless Apple CarPlay, for example, and it means that I have to plug in my phone anyway, so it might as well just be wired. But otherwise, a really good system. Honestly, it's probably better than the Hyundai system, which you guys know I love. And then up ahead of you is a really high definition digital instrument cluster. It's not the best out there because it doesn't show that much information to it. You can press this BC button on this stalk here, and it goes through few menus, and in the center you can display your maps, but otherwise it's pretty basic, although it does change when you change between sport, comfort and eco pro. And by the way, this thing is really economical, like weirdly so. BMW have like a mild hybrid system. I'm getting 9 liters per 100 kilometers for a hot hatch. That is absurd. I get like 12 liters in an i30N. So, I mean, that's something to keep in mind. This wouldn't be a hot hatch review if I didn't mention storage. You get a couple of cup holders, an area here, which, as I said, would have been a wireless charger had it not been for BMW taking those away for COVID supply chain issues. You got a pretty massive glove box here. In fact, it's enormous, and it's felt line too, which is nice. You've got another storage area to the right of the driver. You got pretty massive door bins here too, which I love. You don't see that in a lot of hot hatches. And then the center armrest is not the biggest, but it's pretty big, and you've got a USB fast charger there and a USB-A port there and a 12-volt socket right there. So it's all very practical. I genuinely believe that sitting in here is one of the best daily drivers you can be in. It feels just complete. And no, this isn't fully optioned. I've got the bass sound system, which does sound really, really good. I don't have the heated seats. In fact, speaking of seats, these are the bass seats. So they're partial cloth and Sensortech, which is BMW's way of calling their fake leather. But it would fool you. Like, even though it's fake leather, it still feels pretty damn nice. It's very, very supportive. Automatic adjustment for both seats, and you've got inflatable side bolsters to really hug you. And yeah, it's just such a complete package. I love it in here. I really, really like it. I love spending time in here. And that's not something I say across a lot of cars. Oh, and how could I forget the seat belts too? You've got the M stitching on it. So red, blue, and blue. Pretty nice touch, even though it's not an M car. So how about back seat then? Well, one of the benefits of having a front wheel drive car versus the rear wheel drive of the previous 1 Series is that you actually get a lot more room in the back seats. And yeah, you do. This is my normal seating position. I'm notorious for sitting quite far back at 5'11", but I have actually quite a lot of leg room, heaps of toe room, and also a pretty good amount of headroom there too. It's very, very ergonomical back here, including air vents. Ooh, that's nice. It's a hot day today. You get a couple of USB fast chargers. You get the same Sensortech and cloth seats, but it's really nice. And the materials back here are just as nice as up front. Soft touch absolutely everywhere. Massive door bins here too. Got map pockets here. Out of a lot of hot hatches, including the Mk8 Golf, the quality back here is so much nicer, and you just have loads and loads of room. And I'm loving this panoramic sunroof, even though it is, as I said, a pretty pricey optional extra. But at least it's allowing a lot of sunlight in now, so it doesn't feel so claustrophobic. If it wasn't there, it might feel a bit darker. In terms of practicality for the BMW 128 Ti, it's really, really good. So first of all, you have a pretty enormous amount of room in here, even with this cargo cover, which, look, we can take off pretty easily. Pretty flimsy, but we can also put it in this underfloor storage where there is a lot of storage, by the way, and it just sits in there nice and tidily. How easy is that? Once you're in there, a lot of room, and this is my backpack for scale. Yeah, plenty of space. And of course, we can put down the rear seats too to get just a huge amount of space. And I've been using this car actually while I've moved homes, and it's been pretty perfect. And again, backpack for scale right there. So as you would expect for a hot hatch, it does pretty damn well. And I'm really impressed by the practicality. As I said, I've been using it for moving. Been awesome. Let's chat specs. Now, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but the BMW 128 Ti is really well priced. It starts at just under 61,000 Australian dollars. And that might sound like a lot of money, but it's almost identical to the Volkswagen Golf GTI, which is this thing's main competitor, and only like 4 grand more, 5 grand more than a top spec i30N, which comes pretty similarly loaded. This isn't quite as good, and if you want to start optioning things, you're going to increase that gap. But for a BMW and what you get on the inside, it's pretty impressive. But anyway, the engine here is a detuned version of what you'll find in the M135i, which is of course the all-wheel drive hot hatch version. Some might call it a super hatch, but it's not quite there. But anyway, 180 kilowatt of power, 380 Newton meters of torque. Of course, it is front wheel drive power is sent through to the front wheels exclusively, but through a mechanical limited slip differential like a true proper hot hatch. And so this thing supposedly will do 0 to 100 in 6.1 seconds, but what will it actually do? Well, let's time that. Okay, so now we're gonna launch the BMW 128 Ti. I've got my specialist timing gear set up here, and I thought this had launch control, but I can't seem to activate it like every other BMW. So I'm gonna launch it without launch control, but I'm still gonna brake boost launch it, so it should achieve the same result. Let's see. The claim 0 to 100 is 6.3 seconds. I'm in pretty ideal conditions now, so let's see if it'll get it. Okay, so foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator, launch control is activated. What do you know? Here we go. Oh man, struggling for traction. That was a hard shift. Of course, launch control activates now after I've tried like 30 times. That's a good thing, whatever. 0 to 100 in 6.46 seconds. That's actually pretty surprising. It's close enough to the claim that I'm not gonna give BMW hate, but it's also not the fastest. I've gotten faster times in, for example, the i30N at like 5.8 seconds, so that's all right. But how does it drive when you're not being an idiot? Let's talk about that. Okay, so here we are driving the BMW 128 Turismo Internazionale. Again, dumb name, dumb name. We're on a gravel road right now, and here is where I kind of wish this car had adaptive dampers. Right now it has fixed dampers. It is sportier than a standard 118i. It's lowered to the ground by 10 millimeters, and it's a bit stiffer, and there's stiffening in the engine bay and around the car, so it does handle better. But when you're on a bumpy road like this, oh my gosh, sometimes it can be nice to have a bit more play in the suspension. Having said that, the reason I don't really care is, well, let's put the car into sport mode here. Let's put the car into, dynamic traction. Transmission into sport mode, and well, let's just give this thing some sweet, beautiful sauce. Oh my God. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. See, here's the thing about a hot hatch. You can quite easily downshift and far out, have quite a lot of fun. Oh, and this is why I'm the king. Now, even though it is a turbo engine, there really isn't much lag when you do downshift. It's almost like you're always in the power band. This is what kind of amazes me about turbo engines today. As you guys know, I have a Mark V Golf GTI, and that has the worst turbo lag ever. It's from 2005, and by 2022 now they've essentially eliminated that. You essentially have full peak power and torque from really low in the rev range. And actually, when you are just on the road, it really doesn't matter that you don't have adaptive dampers, because it's really quite comfortable. There is a benefit to having fixed suspension over adaptive dampers. Like the Golf GTI has like 15 settings of dampening, but the benefit is that you can perfect the single tune. And we've seen this happen in cars like the GI Yaris. That has a single tune on it too. And yeah, I mean, I can only describe this as close to perfect. For what it is anyway, I'm not gonna expect 7 Series level of luxury out of this car. Not that anyone ever should. The 8-speed automatic transmission in here, I'm pretty sure is sourced from Aisin. I could be wrong. But regardless, it is a beautiful transmission. It's a torque converter, so you don't have the stupid clankiness that dual clutches have at low speeds and reversing up a hill. It's all very linear and it all just works seamlessly every time. One of the cool things too is if we give it some sauce, an upshift, it does like a weird fart, almost like a dual clutch, which is strange. I think it's all manufactured and none of it's real, but again, it's really cool to have. So I've started filming in a new location and I have a new saucy corner. So let's give it some sauce up saucy corner. Let's see how it handles. So foot down, we're in manual mode. The limited slip diff at the front is doing a really good job. I think it's a Torsen unit. Oh man, this is hooking up really well, even on these crappy Pirelli P0s. Yes. Something that I've noticed though is that there is quite a lot of torque steer, and BMW have tried to like counteract that by using the electronics in the steering wheel to turn the other way, but I don't know, I definitely notice it. Not that I really care, I actually quite like torque steer in my cars, but it's not a desirable trait, let's put it like that. I don't actually think that this is the best handling or driving hot hatch out there. In fact, I still think the i30N is a better driving car overall, and you can click up there to go watch my review on that and you can see just why. But I will say that this is probably the most mature hot hatch out there, and it provides a lot of fun, but if we put it back into comfort mode, it's like any other car. And the interior here is just such a nice place to be. It's got all the latest tech. I really like it. In fact, let's get into my final thoughts. So what are my final thoughts on the BMW 128 Ti? Well, I'm actually pretty surprised in how much I like this. When I got into it, I was expecting a car that was costing probably closer to 80 grand. But for what you get, the exterior styling, the beautiful interior, seriously class leading, the pretty awesome engine, 8-speed automatic transmission, limited slip diff. I mean, the list goes on. This thing is a really good hot hatch. Is it my favorite hot hatch? No, the i30N still is my favorite hot hatch. It's just got more character to it, I think. But if you're looking for a car that's really fast, surprisingly economical, 9 liters per 100 kilometers I'm getting in this thing, and I've been driving like an idiot. That's impressive. I mean, seriously, like I would 100% take one of these over a Volkswagen GTI. The Mk8 is a, from me, this is a, hey, it's actually pretty damn good. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section just below that like button. Would you buy a BMW 128 Ti? Have you already got one? What do you think? As I said, I've made a million hot hatch reviews, so click over there to watch one of my other ones. I highly recommend it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, of course. I release videos like this every single goddamn week, and it's hard. It's tough because I do it all myself. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.